Welcome to episode 10 of the podcast. Welcome today, to episode 10. We have the usual crew of Jim, the podcast, Dean, myself, Kenny, Helen, and Paul.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hellos.
Hello, fellow podcast co-host, and no one here is a special guest.
I'm an official member now.
Fun fact, Helen's an official member since day one.
If you guys don't remember, please tune into our YouTube channel to watch episode 1 through 9 to refresh in your memory.
We did. We're getting like slowly better at doing these podcasts, but there's always that like little bit of like awkward silence at the beginning, and we're like, intro. Okay, Jim, carry on the rest of the podcast for us.
Yeah, carry us.
Carry us. I'm too lazy to talk.
All right, so basically, this is episode 10. So this is it's a good milestone because we've done this for 10 weeks and we haven't stopped. And we're consistent, which is good. Sometimes Jeffrey isn't here because like this week he wasn't able to make it. He didn't specify why. I'm assuming it's school again, but I don't know. But yeah. But right now the usual 4 people are here, and then we have Helen, who's going to take Jeffrey's spot for the rest of Jeffrey's life.
Whoa, his life. I hope
not.
not.
Man,
I have my own life too.
No, you are now Jeffrey.
You're now a slave to the capitalist.
You are now
that is
podcast.
But yeah, we have her. It was a little last minute, but she's gonna cover for him. That way, we have a good 5 dynamic. Because if you watch this on Twitch or YouTube, you'll see that we have like little names on our things, and usually it's less of a hassle to move them around if like the number stays the same. But then once it drops to like 4, Dean's like, "Fuck, I have to do some work and change the names or whatever." But yeah, here we are.
Is it really that big of a change in the editing?
No, it's just like
it's just
slightly
a
annoying.
really slight inconvenience.
Yeah,
I see. I know none of this stuff. I don't do any of the editing. I'm just here, just like, come on, like, it's that time of the week again. All right, I guess I have to like put in effort and start talking. I guess.
Paul doesn't want to put in the effort.
Yeah.
I guess there's no effort. Okay, you guys heard it first. Paul does not put effort in this podcast.
What did this quarantine do to you, Paul?
Oh gosh.
It's made me lazy. All right, it makes me very comfortable just like sitting in my room, like, no expectations.
All right.
Paul.
So we're gonna continue on from last week. Last week we had a viewer who asked a question asking us if we were to perform a heist, who would be which role. We're gonna answer that briefly, but I'm just gonna let you guys know. Although we do enjoy the comments you guys make on the Twitch and YouTube accounts, it's not probably the best idea to ask us questions while we're doing it when we were already talking about something, because if we were talking about something we like talking about, we want to feel bad if we don't talk about the thing you're asking us to talk about, because we're talking about something. But yeah, I'm gonna go over it. So pretty much, I pulled up a website called thegreatheist.com, which looks like some sort of tabletop board game or something, like Mafia. I don't know.
Oh
shit. I have no clue. And it has 7 rules for the heist, and we're gonna go over who would be what. And because there's 5 of us here, we can only really have 5 different opinions. But for the sake of this, since there are 7 rules, there's only 5 of us. We'll insert Jeffrey, who's not here with us, into the role, and we'll also insert Big Ron, who has not been here since episode like 4 or 5 or something.
Who's that guy? Who's Big Ron?
Yeah, they probably forgot. All the Ron fans are like, "Yeah, we're out," and then no one really remembers him.
Our numbers dropped from like 2 viewers down to 1.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll count him too. So we have 7 rules here. I'm gonna go over each of them real quick. Mastermind. This is the person responsible for coordinating team efforts and keeping track of time. Pretty much, they're like they take care of all the plans and what to do and all that stuff. Then there's the brute, who is specializing in smacking people with their head. Pretty much, they're like the fucking meathead of the group, knocking people out so we can jack some shit.
Me big brain. Me smash.
Basically. And then there's the safe cracker, who's responsible for drilling through vault doors, cracking open a safe. And there's a driver who's going to be the getaway driver after we perform the heist or if we get in trouble. There's the cat burglar who's specializing in breaking and entering and sneaking past detectors and has stuff like lockpicks, crowbars. And there's the smooth operator, which talks their way past human obstacles. I guess that means like just distracting the security guards or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And then there's the hacker who's gonna be that guy in the van who communicates with everybody.
Oh, I thought this was the getaway driver. I was like, wait a minute.
No, he's the one communicating like, hey,
He's
there's
like
the door
guy,
breach.
but he
Yeah.
stays in the van or something, right?
And then he hacks like the security cameras and stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the 7 roles, and now we're gonna try to find an agreement to who goes where.
And I
At
know
least 2 of those sounds like smart people roles.
Hacker, I think I want to nominate Dean because he's the closest we have to a
Hacker
hacker.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. The hacker.
Dean is also the only one that has, computer knowledge, or at least like past the basic stuff. Like, ooh, I need to power up my computer to make it work. He's also a computer engineering major, so
Yeah.
he's going to this sort of thing anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah.
Helen would be a good driver.
Helen.
I
Yeah.
was thinking of the person who distract the officer. Can I show my boobs to them?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hold on, bro.
Wait,
That's smooth.
That's the fastest way to distract people.
that is
That's-
true. I have.
Wait, Dean agrees with me.
I mean, she's not. Look, I'm not saying she's
I'm
wrong.
not wrong,
but
am I?
I think
She's
Paul
not-
just.
it's not wrong. But that's the title's called Smooth Talker. It's like, where's the talking involved? You're like, I'm just gonna walk up and reflect my boobs.
I think Paul's just jealous.
That says a
if
lot.
he flashes his boobs, it'd be rough.
Why
That says a
can't?
lot, though.
What if I try to walk up and like flash my boobs towards like the police? I get arrested. But if
That's why
Helen
you're
does,
not playing that role.
Helen does it, she's like, oh, distraction.
Nah, but
Nice.
she
Perfect.
the reason why I nominated Helen as a driver because she drives a Prius.
It's
No.
quite-
Okay.
No one's gonna
Reason to
assume.
why I should be a driver.
No one's gonna assume. Oh, the person committing a heist is gonna drive a Prius.
Bro, we get made fun of though. We're getting away with the Prius, dog.
Ain't nobody gonna know
Even the
that.
police
cares?
officers
Who
and
cares?
officers
Rick,
gonna
though.
make fun of us too.
I think Paul would be the getaway driver. Because he'll probably. My 2 choices were like Big Ron and Paul for a
Mhm.
getaway, but Big Ron will be the brute.
Yeah, he probably knows more techniques to like knock people out.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I think, and then Paul would be the driver.
I was thinking I would either be the getaway driver or like the planner of the heist.
Mhm.
I can see Paul as the mastermind.
Yeah, mastermind. There we go. Those are the 2 that like appealed to me.
Yeah, I can see that. But
I don't know, man. I'm not saying I'd be a good mastermind, but I feel like I'd suck at everything else.
Really?
Like I'm looking at the list, so like cat burglar. I don't know how to use lock picks. I'll be like, I'm too much pressure. I can't do it.
I think that job is actually fit for Kenny.
How useful would it be to be like, if we're like robbing a bank or like a jewelry store? How useful is it to be like, I could like pick locks? Because how often do we like? Don't like banks have like those giant ass like safes or something?
also crowbars. The safe is for the safe cracker.
Mm-hmm.
That's. I feel as though like their cat burglar and safe cracker are more or less.
They're very similar, yeah.
very similar.
Yeah.
But I think I'd suck at both of those, dude.
You just had like safe cracker. I imagine like, oh, he's had like a stethoscope. I think that's what it's called. Like
Dude,
pointing up to the safe and just like picking the crack. And the cat burglar, literally Catwoman from Batman.
you know what? I think I'm just here to fill. I'll fill whatever was left, I guess. Okay, so we got Dean. Smooth Talker's Helen, right? Is everyone agreeing on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Debatable.
Paul's
Paul's
just
the
jealous.
only
He
one.
can't. When he shows his boobs, nothing happens.
I get arrested.
Yeah.
Paul's like, eh.
Nothing.
That's sexist.
Sexist.
Yeah, I think so. So Paul for driver, or anyone saying Helen for driver? Are we going with Paul for driver?
I think we're
I
going
mean-
with Paul.
Yeah.
We're going with
Either
Paul?
one. All right, so I'll be
Yeah.
driver then.
I'll be the backup driver if there is one.
Just in case Paul gets shot.
Okay, so this the brute is Ron.
I like,
so
I like
there's
how,
still the
I like how none of us decide like Jeffrey would be driver. Just
No,
for the
I think
Well,
Jeffrey would be
Jeffrey
like Jeffrey
just for
would
the-
like stop at a red light and like start
Yep.
start slowing down the yellow, and we're like Jeffrey, come on, you gotta go.
the cops are on us. Go, go.
It's
I
part of the
can't
reason I
run the
picked.
red light,
Part of the
dude.
reason I picked this
I
driver.
don't want to
like,
get a ticket.
it's because like I'm usually the guy that's like
Fuck
drives
it.
everyone everywhere during like a normal year.
Yeah, and then you'll just say fuck it on the yellow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Jeffrey would debate on it and like, oh no, guys, and like Jeffrey, we're being chased by like 3 cops. Come on, they're shooting at us.
Let's go.
Yeah, cops following us. Come on.
They're not just
Um,
any cops; they're American cops.
Yeah.
They shoot first. They don't ask first.
Okay, so there's still the mastermind, the safecracker, and the cat burglar for me, Kenny,
Jeffrey.
and
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Yeah.
So you said I'll be a good cat burglar?
So crowbars and picking locks. Yeah, that's
Yeah. I
yeah.
think so.
What?
You have,
Which
to,
one?
you have to sneak.
Yeah.
You have to sneak past the detectors too.
What? Wrong was the what?
The brute.
The brute
The brute.
role? What was that
Yeah.
exactly?
Just pretty much knocking people out,
Oh, okay.
beating people up.
We
Yeah.
just give Ron like a gun and like go to ham, dude.
Yeah. Give him a gun. Give him a box of crayons. Like, hey, do your thing.
Do marine stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just think of them as target practice.
Oof. Is this a robbery or is it just like?
It could be mass murder.
I think
Like
the
this
brute.
bad-
The brute is
bad
there.
word.
The brute is there in case they're a security guard. So like, while Hen distracts them, Ron knocks all the rest of them up or
Yeah.
out. And then if we get to a situation where we need to use violence, Ron's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, in case something goes wrong or whatever.
Which one's
We're very-
the
We're very morally
safecracker?
gray robbers.
Safecracker, pretty much they drill through the vault doors, crack open a safe, and they use like a stethoscope to like, I guess help break open the safe or something.
Yeah.
And like here.
'Cause supposedly there's supposed to be like a specific like click when you're turning the dial, and there's supposed to be a certain sound to let
Yep.
you know the number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think only-
I think
I
I
don't know.
almost opened up a lock that way by like listening carefully. I was like, there was like those lock you put for like your locker back in like middle school or like high school.
Or is that what you used to do, Paul?
I almost opened up one that way, like a random person's lock that way, or like a
you
friend.
know,
I knew that because like a friend like passed me theirs and like see if you can open it, just like listen closely. I got like 2 out of 3 numbers.
Why did you finish it?
I guessed wrong in the last one.
You could have started over.
Yeah, but then class had to start.
You could be late. This is important. You could have got yourself like $20 from that person.
We were right in front of band class.
Important. Money is important. Come on, Paul.
Wait, so what other roles are left?
We have Mastermind.
and Safecracker for me and Jeff.
I think Jeffrey gets the safecracker in my opinion. He's more of a hands-on guy.
Mhm.
That is very true.
Well, I guess I'll be your mastermind.
Yeah, you'll plan it
My
out
job
for
would be
us.
Be a better mastermind.
All right, guys. Today we're gonna rob a bank and go.
Wait, what's
And
the
go.
plan?
What?
There's already a plan.
Honestly, I was gonna say Jeffrey could be Mastermind, but he gets too cautious, like, and starts doubting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think he doubts later because what my thought process was like I think at the beginning before we rob, I feel like he would thoroughly plan it out. Like he'll be probably like really detailed, but then once we start actually doing it and go through the plan, I think that's when he'll start doubting, which is during the time we rob.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also
Yeah.
like the mastermind also has to be able to like think on their feet because like
He's
yeah, we
pretty
have
much
like
the leader of the heist.
yeah, 'cause, like
Yeah.
Yeah, we like plan it out, but at the same time, like, it'd be like quick on your feet, like think
Pretty
like,
much, yeah.
because you know what that's saying, like, what any plan like is destroyed or is ruined on first contact with the enemy or something like that.
Yeah.
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 So it's
Yeah,
also
I think
that
Jim would
too.
be perfect for Mastermind. Scope things out and then
I can see him fitting that role.
yeah.
I still
Yes.
think I'd be better, but I guess I'm a driver.
What, you want to be a different role then?
I said I could see myself in two of the roles.
You can also be the hacker man. I mean, you won't be good at it. I just think it'd be entertaining.
No, I can't even like get through like scripts by myself. I had to like go onto Google. Okay, tell me what to do, please. I don't want to do this.
I mean, that's how you learn, though.
I don't care. My eyes just roll into the back of my head whenever I see that. I'm like,
It's okay. As the mastermind, I'll be like, okay, Google how to rob a bank.
Yeah, this is what
Give
we
me-
need, guys.
Give me my mods.
Yeah, I can either see you or Jim as Mastermind.
Sorry, what did I miss?
Yeah.
Although, okay, so here are the roles. So mastermind, it'll be me. Brute will be Ron. Safecracker will be Jeffrey. Driver will be Paul. Cat burglar will be Kenny.
hmm
Smooth operator will be Helen, and then the hacker man will be Dean.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
I just mash buttons and then hacks.
Beep boop.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
there's like a giant butt that says hack on it, and he presses it.
Yeah. If this was a movie, I'd be the hacker man that's just like typing really fast and not looking what I'm typing at.
the word on the screen just like
Yeah.
moving at a million miles per hour. Like, yes, I understand everything that's being written here.
Yeah.
Quick, Dean, get it that security guard social security number.
All right, it's 69, 69, 69, 69.
Now, are we doing like realistic hacking, or are we doing like movie hacking?
I have no clue.
We're doing movie hacking, I reckon.
Well, I mean, movie hacking, because let's be realistic, we're not gonna fucking even if we wanted to, we're not gonna fucking rob the bank. Because for me personally,
What do you mean? I thought
I'd
this was for real.
I'd be far too lazy to rob a bank. Even if we're all like, hey, we're fucking starving, we need to make a lot of money somehow. I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna just chill here and die because that's too much work.
I mean, to be fair, that you are right. We're too lazy. We're too lazy to do even like the scratchers thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not lazy. We're just
Imagine scratching all those scratchers. There's like $200 worth of scratchers each, and then we have to like spend that much time fucking scratching them.
And then when we win $1 million, we're set.
Even if we were to win $1 million, I've just been like, it's so much work though. I don't want to do this.
That's the easiest money ever made, though.
Yeah.
Nah, dude.
So you'd rather work 10 years trying to make that money?
I
Alright,
mean,
big word.
10 years is probably not enough to make the same amount.
realistically, yes.
Yeah.
I think just like, I don't know, like morally for me, I don't know. I don't really care for scratchers or just like getting money through like no
Scratchers are immoral.
no actual effort of my own.
I mean, when it comes to the lottery, if I win, I'm not the type to play lottery or scratchers because, statistically they're bullshit, But if I somehow won, I'd take the money. I'd be like, I don't give a
Hell
fuck.
yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
take the money. I'd probably just like give the money to my mom's like, here, have
Yeah,
it.
I wouldn't.
I don't care.
I wouldn't go that far.
That's
I mean,
that's-
I'll spend some of it on my mom, of course, but I'm not gonna be like, hey, you know what? I want $1 billion. I don't want a single cent of this. So hey, mom, take $1 billion. It's like I'll get her a house, a car, even or whatever the fuck. But I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I don't want any of this. When I have like stuff to buy myself, like a house would be nice,
Yeah.
car would be nice, chicken nuggets would be nice.
them chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets.
Well, Paul, if you ever do and you don't want that money, I'm right here
Yeah,
too.
you just
Whenever-
give it to
Same
us.
here.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll take it.
I'll probably just like split it amongst everyone. I just don't see myself getting excited over like winning like $1 million or anything like that. I'd be like, oh, neat. My bank account number went from small number to big number. Oh, yay, cool. And then I'll probably just go back to doing my own thing.
I mean, $1 million. The reason the reason why people want that much money is because it gives you so much power over, what you can do. Like if you have $1 million, you're set for quite a while where you can just like focus on doing things you like rather than doing things just for the sake of making money. Like if you wanted to fly a plane, like what you're doing, instead of going in the military. I'm not saying that like you're doing it just you're doing that because you want to fly.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go that route if you don't want to, if you have that financial security. So it just gives you more freedom to do things you want rather than things you feel like you have to do.
I think my attitude just comes from like the fact like, well, for one, yeah, my parents like before they divorced like would fight about money all the time, and I was like exposed to that and just like I learned pretty early on to like have like a disdain for money. But I think it's also due to the fact I do have like a pretty comfy life. I'm like pretty spoiled in that regard, where I don't have to worry about money too much. So I've not had to like. I mean, there were times like I had to worry about money whenever my bank account was low. Like, oh, it's my time to count the pennies and all that. But
gotta go to Coinstar.
yeah, but for the most part, I'm like, I never really had to worry about that. So I guess that's part of the reason why my attitude is there. If I were like had to like survive on my own, though, I think yeah, $1 million would make me a little bit more excited. But just at the current moment, it's just like I don't see that happening right now. If it were to happen,
Okay, understandable.
yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, like, look, even though I'd love to have like $1 billion, don't get me wrong, I also like don't have the desire to fucking work for it, because it's like, I'm satisfied with like $100K a year, like $200K to have like more fancy shit.
Absolutely,
Anything above that is just like playing with house money. You don't need that. You don't need that much money.
Yeah,
It just goes
get
to
by.
whatever you're investing, like your house,
Yeah.
your car.
Yeah.
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 Like-
100K a year, I would definitely be like, I'm set.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied. I'm comfortable here.
Yeah. I think Paul knows this, but this is like a study back in like 2018 or something, 2017, where they would pretty much survey like households, and then it's like the premise of the question is something like, hey, are you happy making this much money? And then so pretty much around that 75,000 mark, households would say that they're happy because they're able to pay off their bills. They're able not bills. What the fuck? They're able to just get by and afford some nice stuff too. And there's like a noticeable increase from that than from like your average American household, which is like 40K a year. And then when you go up to like 90K a year, there's a noticeable increase in happiness on top of so the 75,000 household mark. So the 90K people are doing really well, and then they're even happier than the 75,000 year people. And then past that point, the increase in happiness doesn't really go up as much. So it's like kind of like diminishing returns, where the more you have, the better up to until you have this certain point where the increase isn't really it isn't really matching
That's
the
substantial.
increase. Yeah, it's not matching the increase in wealth. So like if you're making $1 million a year, you're not that much happier than a person making like 100K.
It about like levels out.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Because there's like only like so much stuff you could like buy in your lifetime where you're like, I mean, I have literally everything I need and everything I want. What more can I buy, really? You can buy more of the things that you have, but it doesn't really change
Anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, like even you, Dean. I know you would like to have a lot of money because you're a PC enthusiast where you want to buy parts and build computers and that stuff. But if you had like if you made $1 million a year, at some point you're like, I don't know what to do anymore with this money because you'd have nothing left to fucking
Yeah,
do.
of course.
You already took care of the house. Maybe you want to buy a house for each of your family members and then each for us or something. But at some point you're like, you know what? Hypothetically, of course, hypothetically. And at some point you'd be like, okay, well now I don't, what do I do now?
It's like that point
you'll
where
plateau. You'll plateau
like,
eventually.
It's like that point where you're playing like a game or something where you're like making money, and then like you start off poor, like, oh man, I can't wait to have enough money to buy this thing. But then eventually, once you like reach like end game content, you're like, and already like beating the game, like, I'm massively rich. I have all this money, and I don't know what to do with it. It's just a number to me at that point.
Yeah, it's just numbers.
Yeah. And like that's when you see people buying stupid shit like, I don't know, gold toilet paper or diamond sinks or some shit. I've seen some crazy pictures of people buying random shit. Like this is one YouTuber I used to watch. He ends up being a real piece of shit, but after he made it big on YouTube and he made like God knows how much money, he just started buying stupid shit. And I was like, oh, fuck this guy then, and I just stopped watching him because it's like you're all of that's completely fucking unnecessary and doesn't really give you anything.
You reckon it's part of like the? I feel as though like part of the reason why people do that is like if they're like massively rich and they have like a lot of money, they don't have that much worries in the world.
Yeah.
And so once you have like nothing to like fight against or like strive for, you kind of get bored.
Yeah, and then
so
you
like,
find for the most stupidest things.
You find stupid things just to like fill that hole. Just like that's like lacking of like joy and excitement. Just like, hey, I'm gonna buy stupid things. It's funny, but it doesn't last long, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As opposed to like when you're like struggling uphill like for like years on end or for like most if not all of your life until you like finally overcome that hurdle.
Yeah, it's like it's also why I wouldn't like steal or rob a bank or rob a jewelry store. It's because if I'm successful, I'll make a lot of money. Besides just being lazy, I'm like, even though I get like millions of dollars doing what I'm doing, like, what the fuck do I, want that I would want to have that much to spend on, At some point, it's just like, I'm just not being happy with how much money I'm getting, despite, all the bad shit I'm doing. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think, Kenny? Do you think, like, would you, let's say you make a lot of money and then you buy a house or whatever else you want.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to increase the amount of money you make despite already making a lot, or are you just like content with making like 100K, 200K, a million, whatever? What do you think?
It honestly depends. Like I'm pretty sure I told you guys, like, the moment I have like big money, I'm just trying to build my own lake, have my own little fishery.
Mm-hmm.
Just have an area to be zen in, to relax and whatnot. So even if I make less, even if I just make the 100K a year, I'll be content with that once my little zen garden's all complete. So
what if you made that money like illegally, like stealing or something? Would you feel like you earned it or anything? Or do you feel like it's the part of the risk that you take in order to obtain that money?
I used to have make their dirty money back then, so it kind of makes no difference for me. But that was back then. But now, I mean, would I do it again? Maybe in like desperate need, but it's not I'm not in any desperate measure to do so. So probably not.
So you would earn your money illegally if it was like your last resort, basically.
Correct.
I see.
I mean, I reckon like that would be like the same for all of us if
Yeah.
we're really that desperate.
Yeah.
Well, unless it's a lot of work, then I'm just like, I'm good.
I guess I'll just starve.
But if I have kids or something, people like to like shame people for being like, oh, you shouldn't have stolen. You knew it was wrong. But if I have kids and they're fucking starving, I'm not gonna give a shit about fucking laws and morality and shit. I need to fucking feed my kids. So
I mean,
at that point, yeah.
I mean, it's technically that's true, but morality is like more like what you feel is correct, like you as an individual feels like correct, or what is right or what is wrong. So your morality is saying like it's stealing, like for your kids would be considered right. This may not be like ethical, but because that's what society views, but morally you would view it as the right thing to do. Just saying on the technicality there.
I mean, you can still feel like it's wrong, and you might even think like, hey, like even though this might be for my kids, which I deem more important than this business, you still feel like, oh, this is wrong. I shouldn't be doing this, and I could, quote unquote, work to get that money. But like, yeah, you're right though. At some point, you're just like out of options, and
Fair enough. Yeah, we all have like different lines.
I thought Jim would be like, "All right, guys, I'm too lazy to come up with a plan. So just when I die, just eat me, okay?"
Yeah. So if I'm dead and you were on a desert island or something, if you're gonna eat me, make sure you fucking make use of me, bro. I want to be inside all you guys.
Yeah, don't just make me look like a fucking.
Don't throw away like parts of my body that's not gonna be eaten just so I can be eaten by worms. You guys eat that shit.
Yeah, you guys eat that shit. You find some steak in my body, some shit.
Yeah, and you better make it taste good. Don't let Paul cook me. All right, Dean, can you cook me?
Gotcha.
That's fine. I have no arguments against that. It'll be very awkward once we get to like the PP though. Like, all right, someone has to make your sacrifice here.
All right, Paul, you got it, champ.
Call it Ling, bro.
Paul, we believe in you, Paul.
Is like eating a dick gay if it's like not attached to anything?
It's still a dick, so yeah, it's gay.
Well, do when we eat meat, do we like cut off like the genitals of like animals, or do we just like leave it on there and just like eat that too?
I'm sure we do. If you didn't know, like the hot dog or sausages, they're just made from the unused parts of the animal. So like, if you're eating a sausage, that's like the fucking legs, the penis, the fucking tail, like wherever the fuck. That's what it is. They just like a grounded up fucking mix of meat.
Yep.
Yeah. So like you could be eating pig dick if you're eating sausages, or along with like a whole bunch of other pig parts or whatever the fuck. But,
I mean, I think I'm a lot more accepting of that because like the chip and like the sausage already is like, oh well, ain't this suggestive? Ain't this a suggestive thing? So you're like already like primed, like this looks kind of like a dick.
I bet you when Paul eats sausages, he does a foreplay with it.
You.
Where have you been?
Oh gosh.
Look at the girth of you. Would it fit in my whole mouth? Alrighty. Yeah.
All right. Well, one last thing about the money thing. So, Helen, you're going to the pharmacy field or pharmaceutical field, which means chances are you'll be making a little penny.
Probably soon. Pray to the Lords.
Yeah. So do you view that money to be what am I trying to say? I'm just saying, like, is the money worth like all the things you have to do to get that point? I know previously you said that you enjoy what you do, which is good. Like a lot of people do things that they don't want to do. Oh, looks like Paul's Wi-Fi cut out. Shit, that sucks.
Yeah, sorry.
But anyway, yeah, like I know that you love what you do and all that stuff, but do you ever feel like this isn't worth the money I'm gonna make or something, or what, or anything like that?
I think as the years go on, when I like went through
There it goes.
like schooling,
Mm-hmm.
I guess money, like the amount of money didn't matter, I guess you would say. So
Mhm.
yeah. Just whatever amount I can make, it's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Welcome back, Paul.
Welcome back.
welcome back.
So like, since we're all Asian American, so yeah, one of the things that I think all of our parents have done to us is just like, hey, when you grow up, you better fucking be a doctor or a lawyer or some shit.
yes,
And-
sir.
And you know, for I'm assuming all of us, so money's always like, except Paul, money's always been this thing where like, you know, if you make a lot of money, you'll be successful. So
Oh no, I've definitely had that instilled by my parents. I just
mhm.
hard disagree with them.
Yeah, me too. Look where I ended up.
Isn't that part of the reason why you wanted to become an engineer initially back in college, Paul? Was because you want to be, you know, into mechanical engineering or something to make, you know, money off of it?
Nope, I did that because I thought mechanical engineering would be like, oh, it'll be helpful when I become a pilot,
Paul
No,
foresaw
no,
the future.
knowing how airplanes would fly. But
Hmm.
then I
Alright.
realized I was bad at math. So
Hear my theory out, Jim. This is kind of funny. Paul foresaw a future in his dream that he invented the piston dicks. Bloggers!
Damn.
I'm just kidding.
If we
It's-
had engineer Paul, that could become true.
Yeah. Somewhere
I don't know-
in
I
a
don't know,
different
man.
timeline. Paul
Considering
invented
how-
piston dicks.
considering how that video went, I don't know how popular that idea would be.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
It's sort of a least watched podcast, sadly.
Yeah.
Sadly,
It's like the reason why we started the podcast. We're just talking about piston dicks.
Yeah.
Yep.
They just don't understand the concept.
we thought this
Yeah.
was a winner, and then
Yeah.
I guess not.
Damn, that sucks.
Mm.
But yeah. So, what has your guys' parents, you know, wanted you to be when younger? For me, my mom wanted me to become a doctor, and for quite a little while, I thought I was going to become a doctor too. And then I took a science class, and I was like, "Fuck this shit."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As for me, it is the stereotype of, you know, nurses. Like, if you know, you don't have to be a doctor, but you can be just a nurse.
It's because
Mhm.
you're
They-
Filipino. It's because
Yeah.
you're Filipino in it.
Yeah. You know, nurses do
What
make
not a doctor
money.
though? Like, why didn't your mom just be like, "You know what? Fuck it, be a doctor"?
I mean, she also has that, but, you know, like,
So
I'm pretty
she
sure,
thought maybe
yeah.
like the nurse thing was more realistic or something.
yeah,
I see.
because that's, like, easier than the doctor route.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, all right, so my older brother's a nurse. You know, Big Ron was trying to be a nurse, and you know, and then, you know, I was just like, nah, fuck that. I want to be something different. I want to do what I want to do. What was first was like, you know, culinary, but I didn't really get into that. I just like, you know, just keep it as a hobby.
Yeah.
And then I stumbled upon from my mentor about like computer stuff. It was like network admin. And I was just like, oh, this is interesting. I kind of like it,
Yeah.
and you know, that's how it is.
And it was like while you were in the Navy.
Yeah. Well, I had two choices: become a nurse in the Philippines or join the Navy. And you know,
Because you mentioned mentor, so I was like,
yeah,
all right.
yeah. And I chose the second route, which took a little it's taking a little longer than I expected.
It'll be worth it.
Yeah, it'll be worth it.
Nothing worth fighting for is ever easy.
I get paid to go to college instead of paying college. Haha.
So-
Hey,
Henny, what did your parents want you to be? Or did they tell you to be something like a lawyer or doctor or something, like, you know?
Honestly, no, because growing up, like I was mainly brought up by my grandparents,
Mm-hmm.
and then my grandparents are like like first generation in my family, so they didn't really know much of the U.S. customs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then like they're more of just do whatever. Like my grandfather was like more of do whatever makes you happy. As long as you have a job, that's all he cared about. So
Yeah.
I was like, so with that, it made me like more into working. So that's why personally for me, I just prefer working a lot more.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's also like a very like chilled and very relaxed mindset as well. Just do what
I agree.
makes you happy, which I think like eventually all of us like get to that point, especially if we get older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was in college, one of the things I thought I would do was be like kind of what Dean does, because I was like, computers are kind of neat, and I'm good at math, so maybe I'll be good at it. But I don't know, it just never really interested me very much, because even though I'm actually, if you guys didn't know, I'm actually pretty naturally good at math, but I was never interested in doing anything related to it. And I was always drawn more in school to like history or poli sci, psychology, sociology. So when I made my choice to major what I major in, which is like psychology, I was like, you know what, I'm just do something I think I want to do versus something I would do just for making money, because money isn't the end all be all for happiness. And yeah, I was just like, I'd rather do something I like doing,
Yeah.
despite how much money it makes, as long as I can survive on it. If I can't survive on it, that kind of sucks. But yeah, just do what I do.
I don't know if you guys like mentioned this before while I was like cut off with my Wi-Fi down for a second. Do you guys like think you should like pick your decision based on like mostly on like what makes the most amount of money, or what makes you happy, or what usually was like the happy medium or a balance between the two? Which one do you think is more important?
Well, this is part of the thing that I'm going into for psychology, which is organizational industrial psychology, which is pretty much the psychology of work. So from what I've seen from the studies, well, this is kind of an obvious answer, but it needs to be a mixture of both. So there's some websites, I'm forgetting one on top of my head, that you can go to see the not only the how much it pays or how much the job usually pays, but as well as the hiring rates, the job market growth, and all that stuff. So you can have a good idea on what things you can be in, and know that there's a position for you. So if you want to be like, I don't know, a therapist in psychology, and most psychology majors are going to be therapists, because that's just what psychology is primarily known for, and that's not what I'm going into. The market isn't there as much because there's just so many people wanting to be there. So, if you want to go to psychology and be a therapist, you have to make sure that you're serious about it. And because if you're serious about it, like, the chances are the more time and energy you're going to invest in being really good at it and knowing more about it. But if you're, when the pool is really big, there's some people who are not going to be very good therapists despite them wanting to be one. So going off of what you like, even if despite you not being good at it, that's probably not the best idea to going into something like that. You're going to have to find a realistic thing where it's like, okay, there's growth for this market. There are positions that are open for me to take it if I were to go on this field. Like if you want to go into software engineering, but you have literally no interest in it, then you shouldn't go to that, because even though it is opening, like, if you're not good at it and you have no interest in it, then what are you there for? You're not going to be as good as someone like Dean, who's invested a lot of time and energy learning and getting good at it, and actually has an actual interest in the field, and yeah, so yeah, it's just the balance of both. Like, you can't expect yourself to get a job in whatever you think you're passionate in, because some of them, chances are you're not gonna be able to find a lot of positions for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes
So
sense.
all the studies that I've seen suggest that, yeah, you need to find a balance. Just take into account the wage, the wage, the job growth rate. Like, I think one of the fields that's expanding is biostatistics, which is basically the statistics of pharmaceuticals and the effects that those pharmaceuticals have on people, and learning those statistics for that. I hear that's a growing field. And obviously with the big tech boom, with all the big technology web companies that are in the world, that's obviously growing. But yeah, you just have to make a really informed decision if you're like having trouble picking. And some people, if you're yeah, as I said, as long as you invest time and energy into it, you can go for the thing, like whatever you want. Just that just know that in some fields there's gonna be a lot of competition that you're gonna have to beat somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked that because there are like some fields or jobs or interests that people go into where you definitely know you're not going to make a whole lot of money out of it.
Like
Let's
teaching,
say, like,
for example.
like teaching or like being an artist or a
Mhm.
writer or something like those things.
Yeah.
Just like some culinary stuff, like just being a cook.
Yeah.
Like if your passion is definitely like in those areas, it's hard to find a balance. I mean, it's easier nowadays, especially with things like Patreon and all that.
Mhm.
But traditionally, it would have been like a lot more difficult to like find a happy medium because we all hear about the stereotype like about the starving artist and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if my kid was like, "Hey, Dad, I want to become an artist, and I want to go to school so I can get better at it," I wouldn't be like, "No, don't do it. Fuck you. Like, pick something more realistic."
Yeah, don't just say like, "Oh, keep it as a hobby,"
Yeah. I'd be like, you know what, go for it, but just know that you need to have a fucking backup plan in case that doesn't work, because I'll have to give the kid like the realism behind all the starving artist stereotypes and teachers with poor pay. Like, hey, just know that if you do this, this is gonna happen unless you're like this top level of whatever it is. Like if you're like the next fucking Van Gogh or some shit, then I'd be like, okay, good for you, good job, you made it. But I'll let the kid know before, like, hey, it's not gonna be easy. You need to have a backup plan. Yeah, that's my take on that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, what do you got? What do you think, Helen?
I personally feel like it really depends on the person, whether they doing it more so because they're really happy and passionate about what they're doing, or they're doing it for the money, or people do it for the medium. It can go all sorts of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like it just really depends on the individual and what their desires are and what their needs are. If they're really passionate about what they really do and they don't care about the money, then yeah, sure, go for it. If they, want to do it because, they want to make money, they want to be rich, then go for that route. Or they want to find some sort of medium between happiness and make some decent amount of money, then that's great too. But yeah, I just feel like it just depends on each individual and what their needs and wants are.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of generational studies behind this, by the way. So typically, the younger you are, the more you're like. So Jordan, our friend of the show, has a comment saying like, "Oh, you need to have balance between what makes you happy and something that'll make you money." And people tend to lean towards something that makes them happy, though. That is more true for kids or younger people, because young people tend to take the advice of older people saying that, because a lot of the older generations usually pick something that would make them more financially secure.
Yeah.
So they would typically pick that over something that makes them happy. And yeah, it's just, I think one of the things about millennials, which we are not, by the way, none of us right now in this podcast is a millennial. Just to bring that up again.
That thought still blows my mind, but I guess it is what it is.
Honestly, I thought we were the cutoff.
I thought we were the cutoff too.
We were the cutoff, but
You guys are the first year for our generation, which is Generation Z, or the nickname for us is Zoomer, at the moment.
Ugh.
Oh, we're boomers.
Sounds like
Zoomer.
Zoomers.
Yeah.
Why are we called Zoomers?
I don't know. The next fucking generation is called the Alpha generation. Fuck those guys.
I think we're Alpha. I think they got it mixed up.
Yeah, I think they got messed up.
Or we're the Zoomers, they're the Boomers.
The reason why we called Zoomers is because we're Gen Z, and then the generation before us is Gen Y, but then they're more referred to as millennials now. So they had to change, and then we were stuck with Zoomer unless we get a better nickname.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so. Apparently, Gen Z is a lot more money focused than the millennials, though, which is really strange. Even though we're like very close to what they are. It's all the research that's been done. It's more leaning towards like the more younger Gen Z. So since we're so close to millennials, we are kind of like a weird spot between the two.
We're like,
I mean, it's also because like we're also like very financially fucked as well. I mean, the millennials are also like financially fucked, but with the current like economy right now with 2020 and everything that's going on, and even like before that, it's just been like super fucked. Because I remember like just seeing like, well, my mom was like watching Fox News, or I know not exactly the most reputable source of information, but I saw like it was like either that or she was like watching like her, I forgot which news site also does like the stock market and all that, but it said something along the lines like about like 52% of young adults in America that are still living with their parents right now. So I think it makes sense like why the younger generation would be more focused on money, just because like there's like no hope financially for like the younger generation.
So this actually goes past for Gen X, which is the generation between millennials and baby boomers. They're like the generation no one talks about because they're just born in a really weird spot. And so what research has found about Generation X is that while the baby boomers had a really great economy and stuff going into, so they had like all the financial stability in the world basically. The Gen X was born into a really shitty spot where they didn't have nowhere near as much as what the baby boomers had. So Generation X became a lot more financially focused. So Generation X is usually like our parents, I think. So that's why they're more like, hey, you need to focus on getting a job. You need to, become a doctor, lawyer, engineer, make a lot of money or something. So because they grew up in that spot, that's why they're telling us, Generation Z or millennials, to, do those things. And because we're their children, some of us kind of lead more towards like the whole making more money thing. Whereas if you're closer to the millennial side, you might be more like, nah, fuck that shit. I want to do what I love. It's really interesting generational studies, the impacts of what every generation does for the next one. Like Generation Alpha, that's coming in, I think right now, what age are they? They're like,
are they already born, or
they're born.
They're born.
Gen Alpha right now.
This is too much for me.
So
I'm
the
Alpha really
generation, the Alpha generation was born in 2010, and 2010 to now. So they're like 10 years old. Yeah, they're
10 years old right now.
Yeah, they're too young to have much information.
They're like in 5th grade right now.
Let's go beat them up.
They're still in that. They're still kind of in that innocent phase where like the world is kind of all right.
Yeah. They're like in a no worried, free mind set at the moment too.
Wait, like 1 or 2 years when they're like young teenagers.
Middle school.
Then they're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. So what's funny is that what we have in common with the millennials is that the millennials, the early ones, they graduated into the 2008 recession. That's when unemployment went up to like, I think it was like 12% or some shit. I could be wrong about that number, but they had a recession, and now we, Gen X, we're graduating into a economic depression. So we're kind of on the same boat in the sense that we were graduating to like really shitty time. One of my friends who just graduated as an engineer is having trouble looking for a job right now because not just because of the quarantine, but because people aren't hiring because the depression. So he's just like waiting for a job opportunity to come up.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So I don't know, just really unfortunate, man.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, yeah, I'm like kind of like on the spectrum where if you had to pick between like either making a lot of money or picking what you're passionate in, I would definitely pick what you're passionate in. But if there's like that balance, then if you're for that balance, then go for it. If you're like fortunate enough, but even then, I would still say like pick what you're passionate in, what you like doing more. I think that should like, if I had to like rank this 3, I'd put like passion, then balance, and then like money. Money for me would always be last.
For me, it depends on what the difference is. If I'm making like 60K doing something I really love versus 90K for something I still like but not as much, I probably would do the 60K because I can live off 60K. But if it's like 30K for something I love versus like 80K for something I like a little less, I'll probably do the second one because I'll have the financial security, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Like-
again, as Helen said, it depends on
Yeah.
the individual.
Yeah. I think amongst the five of us, is there anyone who'd be like, yeah, I'd rather make like 100K doing something I hate than making less money doing something I like doing?
I mean, there are people like that.
There are,
like,
but anyone here in this
Oh,
in this podcast?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I already
Okay.
did it,
Definitely not
but
me.
for
We
less
all know-
money.
We all know people, at least one person in our lives that we've known that would pick like more money over something they like doing.
I already did it. What do you mean? 4 years. It was less money than 100 grand. It was just 22 grand a year. That was bullshit.
Hmm.
Now I'm free.
He's a free
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Well, you still have a couple years left
Oh, that undefined.
for part 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what,
So-
2 more years for that?
Mm-hmm. Actually, no, I think he has like 3 left.
For
3?
me?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
3 years left, right?
No, I have one more. Next year's my last one.
Nice. Alright.
But you still have another chapter after that.
I thought this was the last chapter.
No,
That's what I thought.
Well,
he has quite a few more before he gets his job.
oh, for my degree, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
I thought you meant the Navy contract.
Yeah, the
Oh,
contract
for that.
ends. The contract ends next year.
Yeah.
Mm.
Fuck the contracts, dude. This shit's bullshit.
I know.
Which is wild because I plan to sign one soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dummy.
Dude, I'm just not a contract guy. It's like, hey, you have to sign this, and then we own you. I'll be like, fuck that shit. No one owning me. I'm owning myself.
Yeah.
You don't own me. I own me.
That's not how it works in the military.
Definitely not.
Dude, I would not be cut out for the military because I just hate authority so much. I'm just like, fuck that shit. I ain't doing that.
I
Alright.
was looking at videos yesterday of like life on an aircraft carrier.
Hmm.
Oh, you
And-
love it, Paul.
I saw like, oh, okay, like there's like a barber shop. What's that like? And then I saw like, oh, there's like the store, the Gee Dunk area, with
Yeah,
the cashier
the ship
and everything.
store.
I looked in there. I saw the video of that. Everyone in the comment section was like, man, everyone looks depressed. It's like other comments saying like, so what do you do in the Navy? What do you do in the military? Oh, I'm a cashier. I was like, oh, bro, that sucks.
That's actually the easiest job because all you do is inventory and then, you sell stuff.
Yeah, but
Which makes it really boring.
Yeah, it looks boring and it looks like so depressing at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you always need to find that balance between like doing a lot and
not doing
not
that.
doing enough. Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, as a security guard, I can confirm I don't do enough.
I remember that life.
Yeah. It's an easy job. It's probably the easiest job you'll ever have and the easiest money you'll ever make, but it gets really boring.
Yeah, I bet.
That's
Yeah.
how you know you're doing a good job when it's boring.
Yep.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I prefer when it's boring versus when, like, hey, someone got shot outside the building. I'll be like, no.
Yeah,
When did you get shot across the street? Why here?
There are many empty streets and you pick this one. All right.
Yeah.
Bro,
Come on, man.
if
Not
I
the
was the
color-
one shooting, I'd be like, yo, because you guys have the lights on. I can see clearly. I can aim properly.
Hey,
We want- we want-
if I saw the shooter shoot up, I'd be like, hey, if you fucking clean up the blood and shit and you move him across the street, I won't say nothing, all right? Nothing.
Oh wow.
I give you 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Oh, man.
Remember,
That's
10
pretty
minutes
funny.
when I start my patrol, alright?
Now, I'm going to patrol at exactly 7:05. And when I come here, there's no dead body here, all right? We have a deal?
No blood, nothing.
If you need a vacuum, there's a rental store down the street, alright?
I don't want to take a day off to go to jury duty. Fuck that shit. Or the court hearing. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I
How many,
can be
times,
no
how many
witness.
times have you guys gone to jury duty?
Twice.
0
0.
0.
because of school purposes.
You guys are No, I mean like not like get out, dude. Not like show up. Like oh, I can't do it out of school. I mean like just showing up.
Zero.
I showed up, and then
I never done
Zero.
Never got a letter.
I have gotten letter probably I think only once or twice, but I got away with it. Well, I had a legitimate excuse to why I couldn't show up.
Why?
Because of school. Like I'm all the freaking way to Stockton and to tell me to do it in freaking I forgot which location. It's probably in the Santa Clara area anyways. So I was like, there's no way I have school.
Yeah, I can't do it, fam. I'm part of the elite.
I've never done jury duty, but I have a plan in case I ever do.
What's the plan?
Act batshit crazy.
That's everyone's plan.
I'm currently away.
They'll be like, "What the fuck? All right, get this guy out of here." He makes me a little uncomfortable. All right. Fuck that guy. Get him out of here.
I'm currently away from the country.
So. Yeah, Kenny, you've been called up like at least 2 times, right?
It was twice.
Twice.
The first time, my judge voted for Trump. He's like, on the first day, he's like, "Congratulations on our new president, Donald Trump." And then, this guy's a racist. That's the first thing I thought.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Oh, and then the guy didn't like me because, he was a racist and I was a minority. So
all works out.
Yeah, so it all worked out. But
like Hillary Clinton 2016. Woo!
Yep.
That would have pissed him off.
And then I went back a second time, and then it was another white guy, but this white guy was nice. I told him I was helping my parents with bills. And like, "Oh, you're such a good son." and then he was like, "Sorry, I couldn't let you go sooner." I'm like, "It's okay, man." And then he let me off, and then I was excused.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I've definitely been called up the most out of everyone here. I've gone at least like 6 times.
You've never been a part of the court, though, right? Or the
I've never been part of the court. Like 5. I mean, I got letters. I got called up.
Mm-hmm.
5 of the times I was able to get out of it due to like school reasons, but it happened at least like I'd get like a letter at least like once a year, like, "Hey, you have jury duty." I'm like, "Why?" And then the 6th time, which was like last September. Yeah, I think September, before coronavirus hit. I was like sick, and I was like, "Okay, I'm actually not going to school at this time." I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll do it." But I was like wearing I remember getting sick and having to like wear. I wore a face mask, and that was before like face masks were like a thing.
Yeah.
Yep. So I bet people were looking at me like, "What's this guy wearing a face mask? That's kind of weird." Well, to be fair, I guess some people would still think that today in like certain parts of the U.S.
Yeah.
But I almost made it, but then because I actually wanted to like see what it was like to be in the jury duty or in a jury, but then
that's why, Paul.
I didn't get selected. I thought I would have made a really good juror in that. I was like, I mean, the guy could be innocent, the guy could be guilty. We'll just have to look at the evidence. Some people do things and then they're fucked up, or some people lie. You just got to look at the evidence, and then there are some people were like, "No, there's no way." Like people would lie about that sort of thing, but they were like let out pretty early.
I feel like a lot of people would be down to do jury duty because that is kind of cool. You're like, I'm kind of in charge, low key in charge of how this guy's gonna end up after the trial.
Mm-hmm.
And
but that's
if only. Yeah, I mean, obviously when you get selected, but I think more people want to do it if they were gonna get paid a decent amount. Like if you're just going there for like, I don't know, like what, $10 an hour or some shit, you're like, fuck that shit. I make more money on my job. I don't want to do jury duty. I feel like they should just pay you better to be part of that because it is like kind of an important thing you're a part of.
Yep, indeed, definitely that. I just wanted to go just for the experience. And plus I wanted to be like that one character from like 12 Angry Men. that old movie.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I wanted to be that guy. All right, I think we've hit about like an hour now.
We're
We're
at
at,
hour and
on a-
5.
Hour
Yeah.
and 5.
Nice.
All right. Any last words from anybody?
Last
Nah.
words.
Jeffrey, if you're there, what's up, man? Anyway, if you enjoyed today's episode, you can check out our YouTube channel. It's going to be uploaded there, along with our other episodes from previous weeks. Episodes 1 through 9, we have episode 1 with current impressions, episode 6 with our Japan trip, which are some of the more notable ones. And if you want to know a little bit more about a special guest here this week, Paul, not Helen. I'm kidding. If you want to know more about Helen, then you can check out episode 8, where we, talk about her a little bit, and then she talks about, her experiences and stuff. Get to know her a little bit better. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check out a live podcast every Wednesday evening around 7 o'clock p.m. PST.
If we ever show up on time.
Yeah, today was the only day we ever showed exactly 7, so that was different.
Yeah, usually it's like 7:30.
7:15, 7:30.
Pushing on 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can check in all the information you need to know to find our channel. It's just in the description below. We've made it 10 episodes, guys.
Hey.
Hooray!
Yay.
All right. Again, as always, leave a comment in our videos, podcasts, and all that stuff. And
like and subscribe.
And subscribe. Get us to 100 subscribers on YouTube. We need more because we've been stuck at around 20 something ever. All right.
That's